So with Apple Swift, however, is that it allows you to build some basic apps, develop apps using Apple's language. It's called Swift. All right. Because I got two opportunities here. Well, Netflix has an opportunity to get software engineers. And guess what? It takes you guys at the entry level, meaning that you have basic coding skills, whether it be Swift, Python, or just Java. You use those and you qualify for some of the opportunities. Also with different other companies like Microsoft, Apple as well. So I got a few things I want to show you. Let me show you this real quick. You can also publish your app in the App Store. The way you do that, this article right here. See this? So only thing you have to do, so stores like Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, they actually publish over millions of apps each year. All right. So you have to log in and create an account with them. And they want you to understand the budget. Budget with the app that'll be created. Think about the type of app you're gonna create, and also like its basic function, and how many users do you think that you provide service to? That's your target audience. Then you dedicate time to how the app is gonna work. Try to tweak all the buzz out of it. Then you start the process. You got to apply for what we call the Apple Developer Program. So you got to make this account. You do that with your Apple ID. For all my iPhone users, use your Apple ID to sign in. You got to use your phone number, address, and your name, and just enroll. All right. But enrolling as an organization, you may have to use your DUNS number or tax ID number, then submit your application. All right. So it just need these steps here. Make sure it runs smoothly, allows a back-end review, contains all your correct information. That's how you develop your app. And see, you have to create a listing on the App Store with the help of Apple's Store Connect. And it prepares the app to be listed. That's what it does. So you're going to sell your app. Like I said, you have to enter your tax ID number and then sign the paid applications agreement and submit all your data. And so you can give access to other users to help with the development and upload of the app. So being you the builder of the app, you can add all the keywords, the descriptions to the app, and add multiple bills. You create what we call an app record, prepare the app for delivery. So this done for iOS, for iPhone to run on Apple TV, and also Apple Watches. So those are different operating systems. iOS for your iPhones, the TV operating system for Apple TV, and the watch operating system for your smartwatches, the Apple Watch. This is what it looks like when you log into Apple Store Connect. You sign in here. And once you sign in, you choose the type of app it's going to run, and then you can view the trends about, say, the trends for like the analytics. How many people have been downloading your app and using that app too? Pretty cool. I plan to make an app myself pretty soon. But it's still in the process. And that's how you made the screenshots. Yep. So yeah, jump over real quick. Have y'all heard anything about Apple's new pay later system? Any of y'all? And you heard anything about Apple's it's a new system they created for basically like you can sign up for any of their services or subscriptions and pay later. And y'all anybody heard about that?
No.
Okay. Well, let me show you what it is. So this article was published on March 28th. So yeah, now have a buy now and pay later feature. Okay. So that's built in the Apple Pay and Apple Wallet. And Apple builds service as designed with users' financial health in mind. Being that right now they're kind of under some scrutiny by government regulators that may potentially harm customers. Hopefully not, but that's the concern. And this Apple Pay later service has been in the works since last year. So unless you actually make a purchase with Apple Pay and pay the service back in 4 equal installments over 6 weeks, but there's no interest. So it remains unclear if Apple would charge a late fee. So the question is, how much will that feature actually cost? You know what I mean? So, that's one of the biggest concerns with that. So that feature is not available. So existing companies like Affirm, they allow. I've seen Affirm be featured in a lot of products like Walmart, Target, and Costco. With buying furniture, allows you to pay, your furniture in installments. Okay, and the same with that. There doesn't seem to be any interest, but the question is, what about late fees? Because as you know, I'm pretty sure that's something. So waiting, just kind of waiting to find that out. Now we're building this out. However, let's look at this. And using Swift is pretty quick. Once you learn the basic commands, the enter your statements, and also your print statements. Now the print statement, however, so I'm sure how that works because from teaching the class when I was at Trimble, I learned about what we call strings and variables. Right, strings can be anything from the name of the person, your age, and you want to make a program say that groups a group of students. You have a group of 8 students, right? You had a student's age and their classification, whether they're freshmen, sophomore, or juniors. Those are considered strings because they actually describe the character or the person that you're building. Variables and constants, however, built into it. Okay, those are some other compilers we're going to make, but the print statements allow those strings, variables, and constants to be written to the program. That's a print statement. So I'm going to show you how that works here.
Welcome to How to Make an App for Beginners. Now, it doesn't matter if you've never coded before. By the end of this video, you will have built this app. Now, I know it looks simple, but it's so powerful because you will have proven to yourself that you can make an app. And oftentimes, that singular belief is all it takes for you to continue growing your skills, building bigger and better apps, and potentially even starting a career in app development. Now, maybe you've been doubting yourself, or maybe you've been wanting to build that app in your head for the longest time, or maybe you've even tried coding and failed. We're going to turn that all around. My singular purpose for this lesson is to help you believe that you can build an app. And I think that once you realize that it's not as hard as people make it out to be, you'll be excited to continue to grow your skills and build bigger and better apps. So I really hope that you watch till the end and you see what happens. Quick note, in case there's any doubt in your mind why I am the right person to teach you this stuff, my name is Chris and I've been teaching App Development Foundation since 2013. Code with Chris is also the largest iOS channel on YouTube, and the last time we did this training series, it was viewed by over 5.4 million people. This lesson series that you're about to watch has even been used inside school classrooms and Apple retail stores. Now, all of that is just to say that you're in good hands. I'm so excited you're here. Let's roll up our sleeves and get started. I'm going to walk through this diagram, and then after I'll tell you where to get all of the pieces. It all starts with the Xcode IDE. Now, IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, which is a term for the application and all of the tools a developer uses to build something. For the rest of this course, we'll simply call it Xcode. This is where we build our app by writing Swift code, building the user interface, or UI for short, and connecting it with all of our data. Swift is the programming language we use to express our logic and to tell the system what we want to do. We can even build the UI through Swift code, as you'll soon see. Now, Swift UI is a UI framework that makes it easy for us to rapidly build apps for all of Apple's platforms. A nice benefit of learning Xcode, Swift, and Swift UI is that they're the same skills and tools used to build all apps for all of Apple's platforms, including iOS, iPadOS, tvOS, watchOS, and macOS. And in some cases, your app will be able to work on multiple platforms without much changes at all. Now, once your app is built, you could distribute it with Apple's App Store. This is done by joining the Apple Developer Program, which requires an annual enrollment fee. Once you're enrolled, you get access to multiple benefits, including the App Store Connect portal, Test Flight, and the Provisioning portal. There are some more benefits, including access to beta software and support from Apple engineers, and I'll provide a link to the full list below. The Provisioning portal gives you access to tools for identifying and code signing your app. It's like putting your signature on the app so that Apple can identify who built it. And this is important for the safety of the end users downloading your app, and it's also important for you because it stops malicious coders from pretending to be you. Once your app is in a testable state, Test Flight allows you to invite people to download and beta test your app. They'll be able to send feedback and bug reports directly to you through the Test Flight program. Use Test Flight to ensure that your app is as polished as it can be before launch. And finally, App Store Connect is where you'll create the app listing for your app, including all of the metadata and screenshots. If your app has in-app purchases, this is also where you would configure them. Once your app is tested and the listing is ready, you can upload the app from Xcode to App Store Connect. From there, the certification team at Apple will review your app to ensure that it meets the App Store quality guidelines. This takes a couple of days, and don't worry if you fail because you can fix whatever they point out and resubmit it for review. If everything looks good, they'll approve the app and your app will be live. Congratulations!
It's
All right,
simple.
so where can you get these different pieces of the Apple developer ecosystem? You can download Xcode for free from the Mac App Store. I'll provide a link below. You don't need to get Swift or SwiftUI. Those just come with Xcode. As for the Apple Developer Program, I'll provide a link to the enrollment page below. I want to mention that joining the Apple Developer Program is completely optional. If your goal isn't to distribute apps into the App Store, don't join it. You'll still be able to learn how to build apps for yourself. Now that you have a general idea of the app ecosystem, let's start by downloading Xcode and I'll show you how easy it is to use it to build an app. There are a couple of ways to download Xcode. If you already have it installed, you can go ahead and skip this section. However, if you don't, the easiest way to do this is to hold Command, press spacebar to launch Spotlight on your computer, and type in App Store. And let's open the Mac App Store on your computer and search for Xcode. And then you're going to click on the listing and then download it like that. A couple of things to note here though. Don't be turned off by the ratings. This is the official tool issued by Apple for us to build apps with. Also take note of the large file size. In my experience, it does take more free hard drive space than this in order to have it installed successfully. And during the installation process, there may be times where you don't think it's doing anything, it seems stuck, it's going to take a while. Now, if for whatever reason you can't download it from the Mac App Store, you can also Google Apple Xcode and click on the listing here, and you can download it from the website. This will just lead you back to where we just were on the Mac App Store. However, if you download it from the website, do note that you have to sign up for a free Apple developer account or to sign in with an existing one. Okay, so once you have Xcode downloaded and installed, let's launch it and let's start a new project. This is going to be the welcome dialog for Xcode, and we're going to start a new Xcode project by clicking here. You can also go, if you don't see this, you can go File, New, and you can choose Project, same thing. Both will bring you to a screen like this where you can choose what sort of project template you want to start with. So we're working with iOS. Make sure you're on this tab and then go ahead and click App. And for here, I'm going to gloss over some of these project details because our goal is for you to get that result and make that discovery that you can build an app. So I am going to save all the explanations for lesson 2. Right now, I would recommend that you just follow along exactly what I do and get that result and have that app in your hand. All right, so let's go ahead and call this L1 demo. I think you probably have nothing for under the team. Organization identifier, you can put in com dot and then your name, no spaces. And interface, make sure this says SwiftUI. It should be like that by default anyways, and language should be Swift. Now uncheck all of those if they are checked. Go ahead and click next and choose a place to save it. Source control, this should be unchecked. I'm just going to save it on my desktop for now, since this is a temporary project. Now you're going to give it some time. It's going to boot up your new app project. I'm going to open this window up a little bit. You see how fast I was able to see something here on the right hand side for you. If it's a first launch, it will take a little bit longer, give it a couple of minutes even. But while that is going, we are actually going to go ahead on this left hand side here and click Assets. Now this is the asset library. This is where you're going to store all of the image and color assets for your app project. I've prepared an image file that we're going to use for this demo. You can go ahead and pause the video and grab any image you want. Save it somewhere where you know where it is. And what you're going to do is click and drag it into this panel right here.
Yep. So, how do y'all feel about this so far? You think it's something easy? Think it's something fun you want to try?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it. I've heard a lot about Swift, and it kind of looks like a scaled down version of oh man, what is that called? Visual
Uh,
Studio Code.
yeah, it is. Yep. Visual Studio. Yeah, you're right. I said it's very similar. Yep. Well, I said pretty simple. Once you bring choose the image you want, like the background he about to show you, Niagara Falls, you drag it right over here to the assets folder. It's on the app icon, and then you're able to pretty much compile it. I'm gonna show you right here. So watch this.
Or this panel, doesn't really matter. This is a big panel, so let's drag it there. What you're going to see is this image asset that you've added to your Xcode project. Now, take note of this name here because we're going to be referring to that image with that name. You can rename it by tapping and clicking it like that and just typing in whatever you want, or you can hit enter and you can also rename it like that. So mine's going to be named Niagara Falls. That's perfectly fine for me. So now that you've got that done, let's go ahead and click on Content View. So by this time, you should be seeing something on here. And what you see here is a preview of your user interface. So you can see what this screen looks like. And this screen right here on the right-hand side is defined by the code that is written on the left-hand side. I'm going to make this really easy for you to understand. We are going to delete all of this user interface and we're going to build it from scratch. And you'll see how easy this is. Right now, it looks like a whole bunch of code that it's really hard to understand. We're going to change that. So let's highlight this code starting at VStack and then going all the way to the end of this line 18 padding. And I'm just going to highlight it all, just hit delete. And then I'm going to press enter twice so I can make some space in here. Now Xcode is going to throw a whole bunch of errors because it can't detect anything to display, but we are just about to add some new elements on there. So in the upper right hand corner, you see this plus icon. If you put your mouse over it, it's going to say library. So we're going to tap on that, and then by default it should be on this first tab actually. So I was using it before, so it was on the second tab, but I want you to go ahead and click on this first tab. This one is all of the views that you can add to your screen, and I want you to in here type in image, and you're going to click on the second one called image, and you're just going to drag and drop it right where all of that code was that we just deleted. So this is an image view. It's going to allow you to display an image. You're going to click this middle part, you're going to hit enter, and you're going to change the text inside the quotes. So I'm going to get rid of that. Notice that I still have the two quotes here. In between those two quotes, we're going to type in the asset name. So just to remind ourselves, let's go back to the asset library. Mine is called Niagara Falls like that. You're going to type in exactly verbatim what you have here, including any spaces, dashes, capital letters, anything. You're going to type it exactly in between here. Because if it doesn't match, it's not going to display. And you can also, at this point, rename it to something that's easier to type if you want. You can do that. And what you're going to see is the image. This is previewing what we have here. Now this doesn't look quite right to me, so I am going to modify this image view. I'm going to customize it. We're going to open up the library again by tapping that, and this time we are going to switch over to the second tab, and these are where all the modifiers are. So modifiers are things that we add to the view to change its properties and attributes. First of all, let's add something called resizable. So you only have to type in the first couple of letters and you'll find this. So this allows you to, it tells the system that this image can be resized. So I'm going to click and drag once again and put it, you can either put it at the end or you can put it right underneath. And right away, you give it a little bit of time, you'll notice that it changes. The other thing you'll notice though is that the image now looks a little bit squished, right? It looks squished and the aspect ratio is not correct. We're going to also add a modifier to change that. But first, I want to round the corners. That's something nice and easy and it looks pleasant. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's add another modifier by opening up the library. We are going to this time make sure you're on the second tab, modifiers, and search for corner radius. Click drag and drop again, and this is the nice thing. We're going to put it underneath resizable. You see that it's automatically going to put a space for you. Make sure you don't accidentally put it down here or like after this bracket or anything like that. You want to put it after the resizable. so that it's gonna look neat and tidy like that. And you're gonna notice a slight corner rounding, but we can't really see it, right? So we are gonna change this number. Let's change it to 10 and see if we see anything. I can see slightly more rounding now, but take a look at this as well. I'm going to leave my mouse anywhere on image, resizable, or corner radius, my cursor I mean, and on the rightmost side here, you can see a whole bunch of things you can configure. After we added that corner radius modifier, you see right here, this reflects what we typed in right here. And in fact, if I press plus, you can see it's changing the number, right? So this is a very easy way for us to modify the code visually through an interface here. Okay, so I promised that we would unsquish this image, right? Let's go ahead and open up the library, and we are going to search for aspect ratio. And we're going to drag and drop this one right under corner radius. So again, make sure you put it right there. And if you accidentally put it right here, for example, you can go ahead and delete it and try it again. Now I'm going to put my cursor on aspect ratio because I want to change the type of aspect ratio. We can define how we want this to behave. Let's make a little more space. You can drag this and make the preview a little smaller so the code will fit on one line. So you can see here it says fill, which is exactly what we have here. I'm going to pull down this drop down. I want to find one that's called fit because that will actually shrink the image down, keeping the aspect ratio until it fits the screen, which is what the behavior that I want to see. Unfortunately, it's not in this drop down. Maybe Xcode can't detect it. However, don't forget, we can modify it through the code as well. So I am going to get rid of this fill by just, I'm going to delete it like that. And then I'm going to hit dot on my keyboard and out pops this menu. This is called the autocomplete menu. And it's going to allow you to select from different options without having to type too much. So just by hitting dot, it opens up this menu and it gives me different options. Now there we have fit, right? An option that resizes the content so that it's all within the available space, both vertically and horizontally. Let's choose that and see how that looks. Perfect, that's what I wanted. Now, one thing to note, if you press dot and that menu doesn't pop up, that's perfectly fine. Just type this out, .fit. You're gonna get the same result. Next, I don't really like how it's touching the edges, so let's go ahead and add another modifier. This time it's called padding. So we're gonna drag and drop that. So you can see how easy this is, right? You don't even have to write all of this code. You can do this visually. I like the way the picture looks now. Let's put a piece of text underneath. So we're gonna open up the library again. You see a common theme here. This time we're gonna switch over back to the Views tab, and we're gonna search for text. I'm gonna drag and drop that. This displays a piece of text, right? And you wanna make sure that you never, you wanna respect the brackets, right? So you never wanna put anything outside of these two brackets because you see when I click it, right? When I click this, it shows the opening bracket. We have to put all of the components after this opening bracket and before this closing bracket. So think of it as a sandwich. So there's my text. Let's go ahead and double click placeholder. And once again, I can get rid of that text in between the quotes and I can type in whatever I want. But you might get some errors in Xcode now, or worse yet, Xcode might not tell you what's wrong and it might just not show you anything, as in what's happening right now. So the problem is that it doesn't know how to lay out these two elements. How do you want them arranged? On top of each other, beside each other? It doesn't know. Luckily, we have something called a layout container to tell the system how to lay out multiple elements on the screen.
Okay, so that just give you a good overview of how you'll go about building the app in Swift. What I want to show you next, guess what? Now, even though I know Swift is an Apple product, right? But guess what? Swift will run on Windows. Now, there's a tool called Mac and Cloud. All right, so let's go here. Right. Yeah, Mac and Cloud, and you also have Mac Stadium, but Mac and Cloud I know is better I used that before when I was at Trinum too. But this allows Swift and also your Mac products to run on your Windows machine. And we had a free download that came with that. See, another thing you'll get a chance to see, like you talk about Visual Studio, that program that was shown in the video was Xcode, all right? Xcode is a program that's used to build apps using Swift. Okay, so here, so I'm gonna have to go back and find their free version because I don't want y'all paying for anything. Um, don't worry, I'll find that. And what I do, everybody, I'm gonna have another session next Tuesday because I see that my Zoom account needs to be upgraded as well so we can get the full time again. Okay. So as you saw the little message, it's gonna give me less than 10 minutes right here. So what I'll do, I'll keep y'all updated for next week's meeting. But what I want you to do too, take time to go through the feed again because look at some of the articles. Number one is another opportunity coming up at Trinum. So on April the 20th, the 21st, I plan to be there too. They have a 2-day course, right? It's for the AWS fiber optic fusion splicing certificate. So they're gonna have a 2-day course about how to use fiber, how fiber optics are used in different networks. So now we know how the Ethernet cables work. You're gonna learn more about the fiber optics and splicing those to actually install some of their connectors as well. And there's certification that goes along with that. So this 2-day course to prepare you for it, and it's how you can sign up for it. And guess what? Guess how much it costs? It'd be free. Yep. You sign up right here. Take advantage of that. But sign up for that. Here's Xcode's for Windows right here. So you click on this link right here. Xcode for Windows. That's another method to install. And this is our packet tracer lab. We'll continue working on that as well. But I want y'all to do, let's go ahead and use this tonight. Go ahead and install this. To show you how to install Xcode on your on your Windows computer. It won't take up a lot of space. I installed that and this week we get started using Swift some. Started, doing some basic coding. How that sound? Pretty
Sounds
good.
like a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what we'll do. So we're gonna start creating a basic app. I think that'd be a cool project, to kind of get our ideas flowing some more and introduce us to a new skill. And we'll pick up we'll pick back up in packet tracing. I
Okay.
think that's a good move. So yep. So hopefully I'm aiming for Tuesday evening, probably about the same time. How does that work for y'all?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds like a good idea.
Okay, Tuesday evening by about 7 o'clock again, 7:30. Which one be better?
Um, let's see, Tuesday. 7 would be good for me. I don't know how Keith is working on that.
Okay. Keith, you still there?
I don't know if it's Mike.
Yeah, probably.
But I did sign up for that AWS course for fiber optics.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, man. That'll be good. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm excited for that too, because actually no Trello does a lot of courses like that. Like they do a lot of Cisco training. They did what does they do? They did a course in Swift before when I was still working there. I
hmm
remember that. Mm-hmm. So they have a lot of those courses. So I try to keep my eyes open and give y'all those too when I can.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But it kind of got me thinking about oh man, what were they talking about? Because I was looking at some of the information today, and it was talking about the you know what is it called, bimodal, and what is it the one way of the information going on the light beam and everything, and
Oh yeah, right. To my the fiber, right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, I know what you mean now. Okay. Yep. So oh, guess what? Oh yeah, well, something else I do need to tell y'all. So, Right Now Networks is officially licensed now. So,
Oh,
we're official.
congratulations.
Thank you. We're officially licensed now. And my podcast is Right Now Radio here. You click on this, and guess what? It's on all platforms: Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
Okay,
So
cool.
hit the button, subscribe, everybody. The first 3 episodes are free, but once you subscribe to Right Now Network to get episode 4 and beyond and some of our workshops, the first 3 subscribers will be eligible to get a gift card to Chappie's Deli, $50 gift card. So like I say, you want to be one of the first ones to do that.
All right. All right, sounds good.
Yep. Go ahead and subscribe and some good stuff we got, y'all. So yep. But yeah, like I say, you'll have access to this, because you're signing up for the workshop and just go through the feed and go through some of the materials because I attached our troubleshooting guide for you all to use. You can use that not only in Packet Tracer, you can use that in the Swift when you are building your app. And there's one more thing I want to show you tonight before we get off. So ASU has another continuing education program, another chance to get certified, this time in drones. So I know you see those drones in Best Buy, right?
Yes.
So now they have a course that allows you to become a drone pilot. They have an aviation class that most air pilots use to fly airplanes. But the reason why, because you have federal state government, different companies, even like Microsoft, who are hiring drone pilots to actually fly their drones for imaging, video, and to make sure that data is surveillance and protected from hackers, especially because a lot of hackers are now flying their own drones as well. You've seen those air balloons coming from Russia and China now, right? So these drones protect against those air balloons that have been flying around here. So here's an opportunity. So this is the FAA 107. That's the Federal Administration Aviation License. That's what most aircraft carriers and airplane pilots had to get certified in. And a drone pilot has to do the same thing. So this is a course that gives you step by step all the basics of flying drones, where the drone can be flown, and all the security features. So this is a 6-week course. They have another one starting on June 6th, and they have another one starting in August. So yeah, I plan to be in one of those as well. But I'm gonna do the course the training first before I do anything else. So one at a time. One at a time.
Yes,
But it's all exciting though. It's all exciting to me. So we can all go together, y'all.
that sounds like a good idea. I have been hearing about that being a like an expanding
Yeah.
particular thing. Yeah.
And I plan to make a drone team over here at Right Now Networks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like I say, plan to have a drone team. We'll get into that too. So we got networking, app development, drones now, and podcasts.
I hear you, man. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's what we'll do.
There's a
Yep.
lot of opportunities out here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll say, and we're gonna take part in everything, y'all. Make sure y'all go ahead and roll with me as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But hey, y'all, I got less than a minute before I said before Zoom kicks us off. But I'll see y'all on Tuesday at 7 o'clock, y'all. And y'all have a great day and weekend, all right?
All right.